Recently, something happened that left everyone confused. The story unfolds through just a few perspectives, and even we, the audience, feel like part of it. Let's dive in, and don't forget to subscribe. The movie opens with Earth, then shifts to America at sunrise, beginning like any normal day. From here, we follow Clay Sanford's family, his wife Amanda, and their two kids, Rose and Archie. Clay is a calm New York professor who rarely loses his temper and deeply loves his family. Amanda, in contrast, is hot-headed, distrustful, rude, and quick to anger. She works in advertising. Rose is an innocent little girl, busy with the final season of Friends, while Archie, navigating puberty, has picked up some bad habits and often teases his younger sister. Otherwise, they were just an ordinary family. That day, when Clay woke up, Amanda was already awake. She seemed a little different. She told Clay that seeing people outside her window gave her an idea. Why not go on a vacation? She had already booked a house in Long Island, keeping it a surprise so he couldn't refuse. Clay, caught off guard, agreed. Amanda got the kids ready, and soon the family was driving excitedly toward Long Island. A few hours later, they arrived at the beautiful house she had booked, complete with a pool where the kids immediately jumped in. Clay brought in the luggage, and Amanda headed to the market for groceries. While loading them into her car, she noticed a man buying an enormous amount of water and food, far more than a family would need, as if preparing for the end of the world. Amanda found it strange, and so did we, but she said nothing and returned home. Clay, who had quit smoking for her, was handed a pack by Amanda, allowed to smoke, just not in front of the kids. They spent some quiet, happy time together before heading to the beach. All seemed peaceful until they noticed a ship on the water. Clay assumed it would change course, mentioning the nearby ports, but hours passed and the ship only got closer. Little Rose felt uneasy, sensing something was wrong. Eventually, the cargo ship came so near that Amanda woke Clay, warning him. The ship wouldn't stop. Panic erupted as it crashed onto the shore, seemingly uncontrolled. When Clay asked a guard, he suggested the navigation system might have failed. This had happened to other ships as well. They returned home to find the internet dead. Clay checked the TV. No channels were working either. With no way to order food online, they settled for burgers that evening. Later, after the kids were asleep, Amanda and Clay were having a drink when a knock at the door startled them. Standing there were a man, Scott, and his daughter Ruth. It was shocking. A stranger showing up here was highly unusual. Scott explained that this was actually his house and that Amanda had emailed him. He knew her name, though they hadn't spoken directly, which made Amanda suspicious. Scott asked if they could come inside. Clay agreed. He explained that they lived in the city, but a blackout had left the power out. Having had knee surgery, he couldn't climb stairs, so they came here. He assured them they weren't asking to take over, would sleep in the basement, and even offered $1,000 to Clay. Clay didn't suspect them, but Amanda, cautious as always, refused. She insisted they couldn't live with strangers, no matter what. Only Scott seemed to suspect what might be happening. He worked in cybersecurity after all. The next morning, Rose woke her mom, wanting to watch the last episode of Friends, but the internet still didn't work and begged her to fix it. After Rose left, Amanda checked her phone and saw news alerts, but just as she tried to show Clay, they disappeared. Clay suggested someone might have hacked everything, but Amanda couldn't shake one thought. Two strangers were living in their house. Over coffee, Clay said he was going to the market, hoping someone could explain what was happening. When Ruth and Scott woke, they asked about Clay, and Amanda told them he had gone out. She mentioned the news alerts, and Scott looked briefly startled. When Amanda asked if things were getting out of control, Scott smiled, assuring her all would be fine. He shared a story about a computer virus from 2000 that caused millions in damages, later traced to 2 boys in the Philippines, suggesting maybe this wasn't as catastrophic as it seemed, perhaps just a system glitch. Though he tried to reassure them, reality hinted otherwise. Scott's wife, Ruth's mother, was on a flight, and he worried because with all systems down, he couldn't reach her. When Rose went outside, she saw hundreds of deer, an unusual sight since animals don't behave like that. Meanwhile, Scott left to check on a neighbor's house, only to find it a mess, with no one around. On the road, Clay's GPS suddenly failed, making him lose his way. Panicked, he returned to his car and saw a terrified woman speaking Spanish. Though the film doesn't translate her words, online translations reveal she had been lost for 2 days and desperately needed to call someone. Clay couldn't understand her, and with her panic worsening the situation, he left. Moments later, a plane flew overhead, dropping red papers with writing in Farsi. Clay rushed to his car, thinking it was dangerous. At the same time, Scott reached his neighbor's house. Though the neighbor wasn't there, Scott knew he owned a satellite phone, so he took it. The kids, unaware of the chaos, wandered into the woods while Amanda and Ruth sat near the pool. In the forest, they found a small cabin. Rose told Archie about the hundreds of deer she'd seen, but he didn't take her seriously and even tried to scare her with his story. On their way back, Archie was bitten by a bug. Meanwhile, Scott tried the satellite phone, but it didn't work. Earlier, a US satellite had suddenly changed its route, likely causing the failure. Scott then went to the beach and discovered a crashed plane on the shore, bodies everywhere, but no survivors or even injuries. Another plane was heading straight toward them, and Scott ran as it crashed into the water, creating a massive wave that soaked him. After witnessing this, he knew things were spiraling out of control. He went home but lied to his daughter, saying he fell in the pool, and told Amanda the satellite phone wasn't working. When she doubted him, he admitted he had seen a plane crash. Later, a deafening sound forced everyone to cover their ears. Panicked for the kids, Amanda rushed into the woods, found them, and brought them home. Everyone was safe, but Clay still hadn't returned. Archie admitted he hadn't properly covered his ears during the loud sound and now felt strange. Amanda sent the kids to their room and demanded answers from Scott, accusing him of always knowing more than he let on. Scott said it wasn't a plane or a bomb. It felt like some kind of sonic weapon, though he wasn't sure. Amanda snapped, recalling how confidently he had made frightening predictions earlier. Fear took over. She said nothing felt normal and suggested filling the bathtub with water, unsure how long the shutdown would last. Scott tried to hide the truth from his daughter, but she already knew, and it broke her. Amanda revealed that 2 days earlier, she saw a man at the market stocking massive amounts of food and water. Scott identified him as Danny, the contractor who designed the house, always prepared for disasters, and perhaps this one too. Just then, Clay returned, terrified. He described seeing a plane on the road scattering papers. Archie recognized one from a video. It read, "Death to America." They couldn't read the rest, but it was clear. America had been attacked. Panic rose as Amanda decided to take the kids back to the city, but Scott warned her not to go. He insisted the city would be far more dangerous, and the safest place was right here. Amanda and Clay ignored Scott's warning and drove to the highway, but froze. Hundreds of brand new Teslas had crashed, blocking the road. No drivers, all on autopilot. The highway was a metal graveyard. Amanda stopped and rushed back as more cars sped toward them. They barely escaped and returned to Scott's house, shaken. Following Amanda's suggestion, Clay filled the bathtub with water. Ruth quietly asked if he wanted to smoke. He agreed. The kids stayed in their room while Amanda and Scott talked. Scott revealed he'd met a client working on massive top-secret Pentagon projects. A few days earlier, he transferred a huge sum for him. Powerful people always get early warnings, and the man had known something was coming. He just told Scott, "Take care of yourself." After their talk, they played music and danced, seeking a brief escape from fear. On the lawn, Ruth and Clay's son discussed the chaos. Clay admitted a cargo ship had crashed uncontrollably at the beach. Suddenly, a strange sound echoed, and hundreds of flamingos appeared at the pool. Back inside, Amanda hugged Scott, giving him courage, but the deafening sound returned, forcing everyone to clutch their heads. They huddled on one bed for the night. Morning brought worse surprises. Archie's teeth were falling out, and Rose had wandered off. Scott reassured them that Danny, seen at the parking lot, lived nearby and might have supplies or medicine for Rose. Ruth, frustrated, complained her father was helping strangers, but Scott promised he'd return within an hour. Archie, Clay, and Scott went to Danny's house and knocked. Danny appeared, holding a gun, and told them to stay back by their car before he spoke. Scott was shocked. Danny had once been his friend, but now he seemed completely changed, as if survival had begun. Scott pleaded for help, explaining that Clay's son was vomiting and losing teeth. Danny dismissed it, saying it was happening elsewhere too, and explained the strange piercing sound affected the brain. He claimed he couldn't help and questioned how they had even left their homes. Scott reminded him they were friends, but Danny said those were old times. Now everything had changed. He insisted they were under attack. This was war, and he would do whatever was necessary to protect his family and them. Clay asked where else to go, who could help. Tension exploded, guns drawn, but Clay stepped in, begging Danny for help and even offering money. Danny shot back that without the government, money meant nothing. In the end, Danny does help, but before leaving, he warns it could be the work of Koreans or Chinese. Over the years, America made many enemies who might now be united. He shows them a paper and suggests it might even be Iran. No one really knows. Danny mentions that before the systems went down, a friend had told him about a similar San Diego incident where the leaflets were in Chinese. Scott, Clay, and Archie get back in the car, and before leaving, Scott asks Clay, "Are you with me? I need to know." When Clay asks why, Scott explains he'd suspected something like this might happen. In today's world, he says, taking down a nation is a three-step play. First, isolate the government, shut down communications and transport, leaving the country helpless. Second, use secret weapons and misinformation to terrify people so they suspect each other. Fear spreads, weakening the target mentally. When there's no clear enemy, people turn on each other. If the first two moves succeed, the third executes itself. Clay asks what it is. Scott says civil war. Governments collapse, law vanishes, and chaos reigns. Meanwhile, Ruth and Amanda search for Rose in the woods, find a cabin, argue, then hear a strange sound. Outside, hundreds of deer stand frozen until Amanda screams, and they scatter. Her attention shifts to the city. Bombs, screams, chaos, and lawless citizens everywhere. At the end, Rose finds a bunker Scott mentioned, stocked with food, power sources, and DVDs, including the Friends finale she hadn't seen. She sits to watch it, ending the story. While the film leaves many questions unanswered, Danny and Scott's warnings feel real. Multiple countries may have united to strike America, perhaps to erase it entirely. The deer's strange behavior might be caused by a secret weapon disrupting navigation systems and animal migration. Beyond that, the story leaves the rest to our imagination. War is terrifying, no matter where it strikes. So friends, what shocked you the most about this movie? Comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more thrilling stories.